Alright, this is the Diablokes Podcast. This is going to be our first podcast. We're kind of pre-game a little bit on Diablo and a few topics. We're going to go around and introduce everybody. We'll start with the far end of the couch over there.
I am Don. My handle's T3HDon. I am part of the Diablokes, and I'm going to be playing the monk on release of Diablo III, May 15th.
My name is Steven. My handle's Sharptooth. I'm going to be playing the Barbarian on release.
I'm Fatty. My handle is Fatticus. I'll be playing Witch Doctor.
And it's going to be cool.
And I'll not be wearing a shirt.
My name is Josh. I'm ThatAsianGuy. And I will be playing the Wizard on release and not whiffing with Arcane Orbs.
Oh, you most definitely be whiffing with Arcane Orbs.
I'm Mike. Handle is Shew The Mighty. I'm kind of a Diablo, but not really.
He's our fifth wheel.
He's our understudy.
He's our alternate.
Understudy, yeah.
He's the apprentice.
I'm the guy who's...
That's a good word for it, isn't it?
Yeah, understudy.
That's a good word. Understudy?
Well, let's just say I'm a Diablo's content provider. Or something like that.
I like it.
We'll get around to your title.
Yeah, we'll get around to something. We actually do something of worse. We'll get around to that.
Yeah.
This is a good stuff.
Hey, we fucked up earlier.
He's our host.
I blame everyone else, yeah. Basically...
These are Barbara Walters.
Well, you can do stuff, but you just can't do it right.
Hey, it worked great for like an hour and 20 minutes. Just for a backstory so everyone who's listening to this knows. We originally did this about 2 hours ago. And
trying to play Catan.
We played Catan. We got through about 6 rounds, which took us over an hour and a half. Which, if you're familiar with Catan, that's not a real good ratio. But then, basically, everything crashed. So this is take 2.
And Mike failed.
Anyways, let's get on with it.
Yeah. Basically, we're kind of getting together. We're talking about the what our pre-plans are. This is, everyone's last hurrah before we board up in our fucking houses for the next, 2 weeks and don't talk to anybody.
Actually, to say goodbye to 2 of you and it's like, hey, I'll see you on webcam. I'll talk to you on Skype, but we won't see each other in person.
Listen, baby, I love you, but it's just I've got another woman in my life.
She's really ugly and has horns.
Yes, but she's got a vision crystal in her head.
But she puts out a lot.
So let's talk about, individual prep. Like, what's everyone going to do before Diablo? I think my game plan is going to be getting late. Because gotta get it in before it starts or it just won't happen. Stockpile, the sodas, foods that don't require me to actually cook, microwavables, etc. And that's kind of my game plan. And then... microwaving is hardly cooking. Like when you go to someone's house, it's
automated form other than somebody bringing it to you.
Yeah, it's like hey,
just have them bring it to you.
I'm just saying, I'd be super offended if one of you guys was like, hey, you want to come over? I'll cook dinner for everybody, and you just pull out 5 Michelin fucking.
It's a hungry man.
Hungry man. Yeah, they'd be like, it's not what I had in mind.
Then you're not coming over.
You're getting free dinner in my company. Shut it.
You would have to pay me for your company most days. But with that, to Josh, it is. What's your plan for prep pre-launch?
Let's see. I'm going to stockpile and rob Walmart of all things I can eat and drink, because 48 hours live stream is going to be rough and fun all at the same time. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to crash and die at some point.
Yeah, and just to cover that, you mentioned the 48-hour live stream. We're going to be doing 48 hours non-stop live stream. 24 hours will be the 4 of these guys going without stopping. And then the second 24 hours, it'll be teams of 2 with probably me rotating in and out for some stuff here or there.
We're going to be hosted on YouTube Live's closed beta under a Machinima promotion. So we're going to be promoted through Machinima. We're going to be on one of their YouTube live sites, and we're also going to be simultaneously broadcasting on our Twitch accounts, which you'll be able to find on our website at thediablokes.com/livestreams.
Fatty, how about you? What's prep look like for you before your 48 hours of no contact with the outside world?
First of all, I got to switch my sleep schedule 12 hours, just right over, so that's going to be a pain in the ass. That's for like what I'm gonna stockpile. Mostly Monsters,
generic energy drinks.
Generic energy drinks. Yeah, Monster didn't
sponsor.
Don't love us.
Monster doesn't want to give us stuff. So we're kind of butthurt.
Some sort of food, not ramen, because if you eat nothing but ramen for an extended period of time, you'll get scurvy.
And then you got to eat oranges.
You got to gangplank that shit.
Remove that scurvy.
Remove scurvy. So I don't know. Just probably do a lot of takeout. Luckily, I have an in-home.
A nice damn game.
I live with my gam, so she'll keep me alive.
Gam, I need the toilet.
But mostly with water and energy drinks. Get my room clean so it's not.
So you can trash it while you do it?
Yeah, so it's not like dragging me down. Just the negative energy of a nasty...
Take care of that stench pre...
Yeah, Febreze also buy a carton of cigarettes.
Shower is definitely a good
I don't want to like draw off my mojo by showering.
How long has it been since you showered at this point?
You don't want to wash that sexiness
2
off.
days.
So it's been about 2 days since you showered.
I'm kind of crusting it up.
Yeah.
You got to get that firm, like... the lived-in feel, so you're comfortable.
So is this a trend you plan to keep on into the 48 hours? Like,
I mean, I'll shower. I like shower every couple of days. I don't see it. I don't go out. I have no one to impress.
I definitely see a shower break during our first 24 hours.
Oh yes,
because that is going to be one of those things that's going to wake my ass back up.
Yeah,
for sure.
Or put me to sleep.
It could go either way.
Cold shower.
I don't Steven if you start falling asleep.
The only time cold showers are good is like after you've been outside in like 90-degree heat for a couple hours. And then immediately cold shower, not like an hour later after you come inside.
I like to get in warm and like slowly.
It's a good way to go into like hypothermic shock.
No, it's the best feeling.
Sweating in 85-degree weather and jumping into like an immediate 40-degree.
I've had to take some cold showers when the hot waters.
When
the tank dies or something.
I think I don't know. Our water heater broke one time. I had to take cold showers.
Just constantly throwing breakers. So I'll get in. I'll be like, yep, nope. Oh Jesus, that was almost close. I almost died. I almost touched me.
All right, we'll jump back on topic from cold showers to the stream. Steve, what's your prep looking like?
Oh, lots of coffee.
Yeah, coffee's probably a good idea.
Yeah, you started off the podcast.
No. Before we go anywhere, this motherfucker has a coffee maker directly in arm's length.
Oh yeah, it's a little Keurig.
He drinks coffee
absolutely
constantly.
We need to throw a warning in here. The amount of coffee this guy drinks is not natural for humans to consume. So please do not attempt.
Yeah, for sure.
No, seriously. Okay, we get done before coming here. What do we have to go do? Get him fucking coffee.
At 10 o'clock at night.
Get him a fucking Trent of coffee. He is that guy.
So from off topic to on topic for this long, and then just right back down.
Just to make
0 to 50.
Throw this podcast right out the window.
No, it's good.
No, you get lots of fruit, some good stuff to eat, get some good carbs so I can keep going. Yeah, well, that's gonna last for a few hours. Then order pizza, whatever. I'm
just gonna run to fucking Little Caesars and pizza.
Yeah,
every day.
Yeah. Don, how about you?
I'm in the same boat as everybody else. I'm just gonna stock up. I think I'm ready to go, other than some food. But other than that, I need to fix up my sleep schedule from work to.
How long are you taking off?
To extreme nerd mode. I'm taking a week vacation. I'm gonna. Regardless on how this live stream goes, if we get viewers or not, I'm getting paid either way, motherfucker.
Yeah, I actually quit my job a week ago in anticipation for all of this because I was tired of the bullshit anyway. So I quit, and they basically were like, "Hey, you can't quit. We need you." I was like, "I'm still taking 3 weeks off." And just so you know,
also trying to be a rock star, so you just got it all going on right.
I'll try to keep the band out of like all of this. When you guys brings it up, that's all you do. But
I'm trying to live the dream, and it's not going.
Yeah, hey,
I'm trying to live the dream. I quit my job months ago.
Exactly.
And I was just like, I'm gonna figure it out. I damn the man. I'm gonna find another way to make my money. So I'm trying to get that YouTube money.
The YouTube sensation money.
YouTube sensation. News on Netflix.com/the Diablokes. Bandwidth ain't free.
The YouTube money.
On the topic of all the hostility with our jobs, let's talk about PvP. It's not coming out immediately. It's going to be a later release. with the Diablo stuff.
Fine with that.
I think we're all in the same boat as we're fine with it just because a lot of us from back in other games we've been more PvE oriented, but when it does come out, it's definitely going to be it's going to be a fun change up. It's going to be like a mini expansion for the game. Yeah, there's months in. You're going to be kind of burned out already, I'd say, and you're just going to be something to just jump right into and have fun with all over again.
And also, you're not going to go into it under geared. You're going to have time to prepare for it. So instead of level 1, like day 1 PvP, just being like, it's going to be like, oh shit, this is going down.
You're going to have plenty of time to figure out a good build and farm up the gear that you want to use for PvP.
You'll figure out how your character plays, how you want to play him for PvP. And also, the auction house will have been going for a little while.
Yeah.
And it'll be hitting like its stride, and then PvP's going to come out, and then it's going to introduce a whole new wave of popular items.
Yeah, different like,
because everyone's going to be building
different value and everything.
Right. PvE, and then PvP's going to drop, and they'll be like, shit.
But I'm pretty sure though everything's going to carry over because as hard as the game is going to get when it scales, I don't think a player is going to be giving me more challenge than the game probably will.
Yeah, but
it's going to be because of the team comps.
If that's true, then you're going to you'll be able to take some points out of your defense and put them into straight offense.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So the builds will be different.
Yeah. The gears, unless you're being one of those guys who's just going to sit here and farm with, one guy with 50% magic find and 3 guys with no magic find, try to get a decent curve that way.
Who the fuck only uses 50% magic find? Have you seen the numbers?
Well, see,
I know.
We'll get into that. Those PvP items will drop the entire time we're playing PvE only, but they're going to be lower priority in the auction house.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not going to be like any other games. There's not going to be set PvP gear. That's what I like. It's not going to be.
There's no resilience.
There's no PvP
like
gear.
Yeah, there's going to be no
how your playstyle is, and are you better than the other person? Can you control them and kill them, or do you have to go glass cannon and hope to God they don't focus you first?
I'm sure there's going to be some different stats that are going to be better for PvP. That's
sure
going to show up later.
There's going to be no like straight PvP stat. I'm going to reference like resilience.
Yeah.
Like when you see a piece of gear with resilience on it, it's PvP gear.
Right.
Yeah. Very exclusive.
So it's going to be nice because it's going to be nice. It's player versus player, but you don't just win by stacking one set of gear and going, haha, I have 3,000 resilience, you can't hit me all day long.
Right.
You may do 40 DK or 40,000 DPS, whatever, but I have resilience, you do nothing now, kind of thing. So it's going to be like that because it's going to be an equal footing because no one's going to have gear, no one's going to know how to deal with things. I mean, so it's going to be nice just because it's going to be, are you a better player than them, not did you farm more?
See, I don't even think it's that. It's I think it's going to be highly dependent on your build. Yeah. I can see some really good like team comps going in there and having somebody that just sits there and locks down people or something.
Oh yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. It's player. It's the players doing it, not the gear. So it's going to be
the gear's going to
the gear's going to be the gear's going to definitely.
All right, so when this releases, we're going to give Don like 2 weeks to gear up, and we're just going to send you in there in all whites and see how this plays out.
At least we can kill the Skeleton King, unlike some people.
See you catching shit on the skeleton.
Yeah, dying to Skeleton King during open beta weekend.
That never happened.
It did happen. I was there.
I'm pretty sure there's a YouTube video.
Let him die.
I don't think it was captured.
No, there wasn't.
It definitely happened.
Thankfully. No, it didn't happen.
Thankfully? Why are you being thankful if it didn't happen?
Because it didn't happen. I mean,
he has no proof.
Pixar didn't happen yet.
We know that when it comes out, there's going to when PvP comes out, there's going to be arena play. We know that for sure. Well, what else would you guys like to see?
Definitely.
I'm really a big fan of objective-based PvP.
Yeah.
Like
King of the
to reference WoW again, like Arathi Basin was one of my favorite things. Like King of the Hill style, like control
Dominion
points,
and League of Legends.
Dominion. Yeah, I don't really, Dominion. There's a lot to say there, but.
It's like ABC points to hold. The longer you hold them, the more points to a certain point cap. That'd be interesting. Just with allow some of the CC champions to get their moment to shine, and just really it makes it up over just kill him.
I don't know. The idea of an 8-man free for all deathmatch is definitely definitely very tempting.
I want that.
Just every man for himself, 8 people. That would be cool.
That would just be ridiculous.
Or even more people than that.
Well, I'm saying for
it depends on how big the maps are.
Capture the flag too would also be a lot.
Yeah, it's also going to depend on like we know there's going to be arena, but we don't know exactly what the comps are going to be, like whether it's going to be 2v2, 4v4, whether you're going to be able to do like outright PvP.
2v2 and 4v4 are definitely set.
We've seen from what they've shown videos.
Yeah, we've seen both of those. So
but I can just imagine like fucking a barbarian heroic leaping across the fucking map with a damn flag on his back.
It's gonna be like, shit.
It's like, what's up, bitches? You caught up? Pew!
Did you see the Demon Hunter's cartwheel after him?
I'm gonna get you. Oh, Demon Hunter would be such a dirty flag carrier with that rune that makes him speed up after he bolts.
And makes him get cheaper and stuff. Just like flipping around.
I got this junk.
So PvP is going to be exciting.
Yeah, that's another good question. I mean, that would obviously be overpowered in that. So
with teleporting catches.
See, the thing is,
you'd have to add like cooldowns or something in the PvP environment.
Yeah,
so they're going to have to do a lot of
imagine there's going to be diminishing returns and reduction on
well, you'd hope so, but they've clearly stated multiple times that they're not looking to balance it for PvP or make it any kind of esport, and it's just for fun. So you don't know. It could be like there's going to be ridiculously overpowered comps that are just going to shit on everything, and they're not going to do anything about it. I
think, with the way the community is evolving now, if there's enough call for it, they will support it eventually.
Have to. Yeah. Because like if PvP comes out and everyone's like, yes, and like a little bit later they're like, all right, we need a refresh. This is stale.
If South Korea calls for it.
Just like this, if the community says this isn't working, you need to balance this out. They'll have to.
Yeah, Blizzard's really good about listening to their followers.
They love helping because like they've released patches for old games years down to fix things.
Yeah, they're still resetting T2 ladders.
Yeah. Hey, Blizzard is the only company I've ever seen that you can send a specific, style of request in a trouble ticket. And be like, I want you to, answer this back in Shakespearean, language, and they'll do it. Like,
they're good people.
Other companies are as good as that are Valve and Riot. Right,
yeah, Riot's fantastic.
Everything I've ever seen about them, they're always out to help their people.
Yeah, it's some of the best companies out there right now.
Yeah. They're not EA.
They're staying around. Yeah, they're staying around.
And people wonder why they get subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about the community a little bit. The auction house, that's going to be a really big driving force in the community, whether for good or for bad. Kind of to be determined as to whether it'll be heavily abused or whether it'll balance itself or how it's going to play out, because it's not going to be like WoW where there's 100 different servers and each server is going to have its own kind of setup. There's
going to be one central economy for
a region. It's
global
one global economy. Yeah, so I mean it's going to be interesting to see how it fluctuates and everything. But I mean at the beginning, I don't think people are going to abuse it too much just because of the fact that no one's going to need abusing it right away.
I see it as completely opposite. The real money auction house at the very beginning, I don't even think it's open for the first couple weeks.
That's one of the best moves Blizzard has made in it, is the first week you can't use the real money auction house.
But as soon as it goes live, it's just going to be a free-for-all of craziness that's going to be happening.
How do y'all mean abuse it? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, basically, you don't want to get in a scenario where basically whoever has the most money to spend on the game at the time, where you have a guy who's, a guy like me where I play, I'm not really looking to drop $100 a fucking month to play. But if you've got somebody who's making, $250,000 a year, it's no big thing for them. So they may drop, $1,000 a month because they enjoy it. And is that person going to have such a drastic, hand over me because they spend the money that I can't?
I don't think
that's abuse.
I don't see that as abuse at all, because I think that's helping the community. Because say he drops $1,000 a month in, that's $1,000 a month into the economy. So then, like, if I say I sold something for, what's the max right now? 250?
250, yeah.
250. Say I sold something for 250. If I cash that out, I'll get, what, 200 of it?
Something around there, like 86% or something.
Yeah, so, like, I'll get $200 out. And
what are the odds?
There's a lot. There's, like, I very might do that because that's a good chunk of change. But also, I could sit there and reinvest that and nickel and dime it out. Yeah, and then it's going throughout the community. And everyone's profiting, like, and getting better things from the auction house from his $1,000 or $250 investment.
I think it's going to play. The way it's going to play out a lot like eBay does. I mean, you can undercut people, and eBay, there's going to be a need for a lot of things. Like eventually, there's going to develop a need for it. But I mean, it's going to be where, like, you can sit there and be like, okay, I can get it for this, or I can wait around for this one.
I don't think the only thing you have eBay, because eBay is going to have people putting out cheaper knockoffs, and that's going to make every price. This is all the same quality.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all the same quality, but it's still all randomized things. I mean.
See, that's what I was going to bring up. Like, the randomized items are going to, like, the good ones that get rolled good stats are going to be worth money. There's not going to be undercutting on it. Yeah, the only thing that's going to get undercut is, like, gems and, dies and shit.
Even unique items have a range on their stats. Yeah. So you'll have, like in Diablo 2, unique items that are absolutely perfect, but as good as they can possibly get.
It's going to be like a slim to none chance to find that item.
Right.
Yeah, and if you do find it and you happen to not want to use it or not,
need it for
want to create a character just to use it, you can sell it for an obscene amount of money.
Yeah, and how many people really care? Like, you get an extra 2% magic find on this over, a lesser quality.
People pay, like, if you take the black market as kind of an example from D2, I was a big numbers guy in D2. I spent so much time basically figuring out, what percentage drop is it from this monster? Okay. If that monster drops it, what's my percentage range of getting it perfect or, within the whatever tier or bottom? And a lot of times it was ridiculous because I would have to kill roughly, 700,000 of this one particular mob. And so I had a 1 in 700,000 chance of getting it. And then on top of that, I had a 1 in a million chance of rolling a perfect when it got identified. And so, the odds were just awful. But occasionally you got it. Yeah. And when you did get that perfect item, it was way good.
I don't think you're ever going to get the perfect item kind of thing. I mean, if you do,
there's enough people clearing enough content. It's going to drop for someone.
It's going to happen for somebody. But you're more or less going to get that really good item that's not perfect, but it's really good. And if you can't use it, you're going to sell it. But at the same time, there's never. It's not like games like he was saying with like WoW and stuff like that, where you farm areas and you obscenely price these things. And the more people doing it, then you can start undercutting things. But I mean, because you can't farm a certain area for one drop. You farm the game.
You farm for a range.
The range is going to give you in a certain area of the game or a point of the game. But I mean, it's not like other things where you can manipulate the market because you can farm it all day long and play the numbers game. I mean, of course, there will be people doing that eventually, but I mean, I think for the general populace, though.
Back to the point, there's, in a sense, what he's saying is there's not going to be abuse of the farming. Because you can farm all you want, doesn't mean you're going to get the item.
Yeah.
And even if you do get the item, it's very slim chance.
But you all see
rolled.
Just spending an obscene amount of money to get your ideal thing as abuse. Like, you see the rich guy
I think the rich guy having the ability to just basically, even if I invest 100 hours into the game and he can invest 10 hours and $1,000 and equate me and be exactly where I am, I feel like that's abuse.
That's not.
I feel like he has. It's somewhat fair. I mean, that dude earned his money,
and he won't be there because you've put the time in. You know how to play that champion or that guy so much better.
Yeah,
you'll outplay him.
It comes down to, even if he does get to buy the best gear, does he have the skill?
And also,
but how much is skill going to outweigh items? Like, that's going to be.
It's going to be a lot because.
And then I mean.
Also, the thing he buys that for the obscene amount of money. He gets the next act, next difficulty, replaces it. It's not bind on character or bind on account. He can just resell it, and he's going to take a loss. So then the next person gets their stab at it.
That's one of my biggest concerns with the whole thing is none of the items are going to be you use them, you can sell them back, whatever. Mm-hmm. And also there's no ladder reset or anything like that. So the pool of items is just going to increase, and the value of everything's going to go down.
Yeah.
So I really feel like commodities and gold especially is going to eventually win out.
Yeah.
Well, gold, you have to sink your gold in to level up your blacksmith stuff, to repair your gear, to use your blacksmith in your gym guy.
Yeah.
Because they're saying it's going to be an obscene amount of gold to just level up a single gem to max level.
Yeah, so I really think if you're wanting to make money in the long run, the auction house gold and gems and such are going to be your most valuable commodity.
I didn't think that you could make real life money, a livable wage off the real money auction house until now. Actually, us talking about it, because the ability to sink a little bit of money in, buy something, and then in the future, if the value goes up, resell it and reinvest. Yeah, just the amount of flip-flopping on stuff you can do, I think you could actually make some real money.
Yeah, but that just turns into an auction kind of thing.
There's also going to be trends. I mean, I did a whole lot of gold, not really gold farming, I didn't sell, but I basically prided myself on making shit tons of gold when I played WoW, playing the auction house there. 6-month-old character from 0 to max, and I had 150,000 gold, just enough money to buy pretty much anything I wanted on my server. And there's trends. I mean, I knew that if I bought this certain thing on a Friday night, because more people were playing on Friday night and more people were getting those drops, and I got them then. If I held out till Tuesday, less people were doing stuff, and the raids had just reset. So I knew that those days, Monday, Tuesday were better days for selling shit because more people or less people were basically putting shit up.
So what's your point?
My point is, I mean, basically like what he's saying. I mean, if you're smart about it, there's going to be people who basically watch the auction house like they do, the stock exchange in real life. And if you're that kind of guy and you want to put in that much time, you're not really going to have the add-ons like you do in WoW to help you out. But if you take the time, you can really, really make a shit ton of money doing this.
I feel opposite about that because just because the amount of items that are going to be on there, like even if you're buying stuff out, it's the amount of items that are still coming in, like because none of the items are going to be buying. They're always going to be there.
Yeah, but they're going to get outdated pretty quickly.
Thing like Steve was saying,
unless you're Inferno.
Well, yeah. So like when people start getting to Inferno, then like
I think,
but I think people can actually make money. On
I think Gear's going.
I think the value of items is going to steadily just go down.
And it's not a bad thing.
The thing that Steve was saying with the gems and the gold and stuff like that, why that might be better is because the gems, like you were saying, it's going to spend a ridiculous amount of money to level gems up, so you're going to always need money. And with gems, it's also now the ability to remove them. It's a big thing. It's a big difference from the two. So again, it's you use it, you get a better one, you pull it out, you sell it, or you can buy the ones you need and then move them around your characters as you need them.
Gems are going to be really hard to get the max level gems.
Yeah.
And even gems are still going to decline in value as time goes on. Obviously, probably slower than just items in general.
But they're so much harder.
Yeah, at the moment, at the current build, gold is the only thing that you have to make stuff to repair your gear. That's the only diminishing resource.
Right.
See, that's exactly how I feel. Like I feel like the auction house is going to be. You're not going to be putting shit on the real money auction house unless you know it's going to be worth some money.
Right. Yeah, and you only have a 10 item limit, so
you only have a 10 item limit, and
at any given time, unless you're moving stuff very quickly.
So if it's not worth making at least like a couple bucks off of, then it's not worth putting up. Yeah, let's move on to a new topic.
I want you for a little bit. Like I've seen a program a lot like a lot of other games where it shows you drop rates. Like you run it, like you pick up stuff. It tells you where you picked it up, how many normal, rare, magic items, and that's a big group. That's a lot of helpful information to people that are trying to actually, make money on the auction house. But it's against the terms of service.
It is. Yeah. You cannot use this mod.
So there's still going to be a lot of people using it.
Of course.
And do you think there's going to be like a WoW head or something like that? And like how much of an advantage is that going to give to the people who use it, and how hard do you think Blizzard's going to crack down on those people?
I don't think there's going to be too much of that. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a WoW head and say, this item drops, this level
roughly,
range.
Yeah,
but you're going to know that by the tier that it is.
It's true.
Yeah. So I don't think there's going to be much.
Well, I mean, you look at like
other than going to there to find, I want this item because it has this stats if it's unique.
I think running a personal program to get those stats, and even to a point of like modifying in-game so you can see those stats while you're in-game, is one thing. Now, if you have to go to a specific website like Wowhead, and they had, Wowhead basically clones that were for Diablo in the day, and honestly, that's probably where Wowhead got most of its, ideas. Yeah. And I think that going to a website like that and saying, okay, well, this is the percentage drop within this range, because the way that Diablo works, it's not like, there's not a lot of drops that are character specific. In World of Warcraft, you had a lot of the like, oh, well, if you wanted this particular item, you had to kill this particular person or be in this particular instance. Yeah, so you had to farm that one person, that one area.
So you don't know.
I say, but the range, because I mean, if we look at Diablo 2, if that's any indicator, you know, the items that could drop in Act 2 could drop from the first monster you killed in Act 2 all the way to the very last boss.
So you don't think that the program's going to be very useful? I mean,
I don't think it's going to
have its use.
I don't think it's going to be as useful as they would want it to be.
I don't think it's going to make an impact on the game at all.
Diablo 3, the game itself and the system itself is going to defeat the purpose of that because of the fact that all monsters have a chance of dropping things.
I mean,
all
Blizzard already has
drops have a chance of being different things.
So do you think
Blizzard in sense already has that?
Yeah.
Well, they have the item list on their website.
The idea of that program is it tells you like you're in this zone and you've spent this much time in it and you got this many rare drops or this many magic drops. So it's kind of
you're just trying to figure out which your best.
Personally, you can personally run those statistics. In your own.
It's more of a personal type
tracker
set of information.
Trying to figure out where to best spend your time.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, for you individually, like your character, the way you have it set up, you might clear this act much faster than the other one.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, it's not your information probably isn't that beneficial to other people.
Yeah,
and you can accomplish it with a piece of paper and stop
theoretically,
ideal information.
Theoretically, each like act has its own. Everything has the same drop rate.
Yeah,
and we also found it does kind of scale with the stuff you have on there because when we did an all white run thing, it. Because with how the magic find works and everything else, it works like that. But also the gear dropping, the range dropping, it kind of scales with your gear. So you're obviously not going to get a ridiculously super ton better upgrade from using the lowest thing. It's always going to be a moderate upgrade. As I've seen in the game from playing the beta and stuff like that, it seems like if you have a 10.2 DPS, you're not going to find that 30.2. Yeah. You're going to find that 16.2 quicker.
Yeah.
And then you're going to put that 16.2 on. And then you're going to find that 17.
Is that how it works? Because that seems like it rewards.
It does. Not always. Because when me and Steve did that white run, we saw crap for drops. Absolutely nothing.
I had a run when I was playing the Barbarian in the beta where I didn't get a new weapon until like level 6. I had everything else. No weapon. I was still doing like 3 DPS.
I mean, this is all speculation.
We don't really know. It's just still not a game.
It's completely random. So.
Yeah, let's get off items.
We talked about items and stuff and magic find. That was the thing to do in Diablo 2. I myself had 90 lightning sword with fucking 1,000 magic find. Just retarded amounts of time spent on this character and everything else and. Eventually the game became just that for me. Like I just did play to collect items to spend my.
I think with that, how the new system's going to work. How they talk about it is how they're going to. It's if you play by yourself, they've already pretty much said you're not going to be able to beat Inferno by yourself.
No, they've said you're going to be able to solve the entire game.
Not with all magic find.
Not with all magic.
But you're not going to be able to clear Inferno when you first get in there with all magic.
Yeah, I mean,
even in a group.
Magic find. Do you feel like it's going to be like
what they talked about with it being an average across like your group? It's a lot better thing because then you can have a little bit of it, or you can have everyone stack a little bit of it, and then somebody stack a little more of it if they can. But
it's gonna be everyone's got to figure out for themselves. Is there in our party one person we can kind of sacrifice just to be our magic find bitch?
See, I don't think that's a good system.
Yeah, see, it's gonna be trying to, or should everyone put on like 10 here, or should one person just be sacrificed?
I feel like everybody should have about an equal amount, just because if you have a magic find bitch in your group, especially if you're in higher levels, if that if that character dies, that's just.
Some arbitrary numbers, for example. If there's 4 of us and we all have 20, we sacrifice a little bit to get 20% magic find. Well, that would be the same as one person sacrificing a lot to get 80% magic find. Right. And
if one of your DPS characters that doesn't have magic find dies, then your magic find bitch is useless.
Yeah, he's just standing up there at the top of his ass.
And you might not have a chance to res him, so your whole group dies.
Yeah. I think it'd be too costly to really put that on one person.
I feel like Magic Find stacking,
spread it.
It's going to be a fine balance, just like they've said all along. You're going to want to figure out how much Magic Find you can handle with
your skill,
with your skill and with what you're going up against.
Yeah.
And I really feel like Gold Find is going to be more beneficial, at least in the beginning.
Going back to the what gold's going to be worth in that game.
Gold Find is going to be a big thing. Even in D2, I did a lot of Gold Find, and everyone thought it was stupid, but at the same time, like, you know, everyone had to res their mercs. Everyone needed to get those fucking full rejuve pots to do their Uber runs and shit. So having a whole lot of gold sometimes paid off.
Yeah, the problem with it in D2, you died, you lost, you know.
Oh, I never kept it on
so much.
Yeah, you lose so much of it.
Yeah, and it wasn't a useful resource because it was so fragile in a sense. You could just lose it all like that.
Speaking of that, I mean, as far as like, you know, gold being fragile in D2, how does anything about that in D3, like, are you going to lose just experience, or are you going to lose gold and experience upon death?
You lose item durability.
Okay, so it's just all durability.
What about PvP?
Is there a pool of your characters?
Yeah.
Is there any note on PvP in Diablo 3? Do you still take yours?
It's all unknown.
Yeah, I mean,
there's not been much released about it other than like the couple videos that we saw from BlizzCon 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I hope they keep that in there, though.
Well, real quick, I'm going to go around the room and I want to know kind of everyone's personal opinion on strongest character for potential Magic Find as far as like what you've seen. Obviously, those of us in beta have only gotten to play up to 13, but, you know, the research has been done. You know, who do you think is going to be the strongest character for Magic Finding?
For stacking Magic Find?
For being able to stack Magic Find without just necessarily gimping the shit out of the character.
I'm going to have to go with Barbarian or Monk, really. Just throw on a shield and be able to heal yourself. Being able to sustain with your Magic Find.
Steve.
Well, in Diablo 2, it was really all about mobility. You had sorceresses with teleport were king until Enigmas came out. And also they seemed to be the best without sacrificing a lot of items, and still were able to kill stuff with static field and stuff like that.
Yeah.
However, in D3, you don't have... Everyone has a movement type ability, at least one. They all have cooldowns, they're not spammable, and there's no big boss chunking ability like static field that's going to make one class so much better. So I don't know, I kind of feel like the melee classes have an inherent damage reduction percentage now, so maybe they might be a little bit better, maybe not. I think it really depends on the type of boss you're going up against too, if you're doing boss runs or just whatever, because range classes might be better suited to deal with some monsters, but they might get, you know, gimped real quick if you're against a certain type of monster and you don't have enough defense and such. So it's really a toss-up. I'm not sure. I want to say that maybe the melee, but we'll have to find out.
Yeah. I really don't know. I played D2 a lot, but I played it hours upon hours. But I played it casually. I never really did, you know, data farm it, or like I never really looked into it. I just kind of played it. I enjoyed it. I never really worried about it.
Now you're older and wiser and super serious.
So I still haven't been doing much research. I'm kind of going into this I'm pretty good at just flying by the seat of my pants, just picking up as I go. That's how I plan on doing it. I don't want to look too far, find spoilers. I just kind of want to do it, enjoy it, and beast it.
Yeah, Josh.
I kind of agree with them. Steve and Don, just because of the fact that the melees do have the inherent damage reduction. Though I like the range characters just because you have the mobility with the range castings and everything. And now that you have the what are they called again? The
ring?
No, the spells that cast nothing. For the
primaries,
the specific classes now.
Spammable.
Yeah, the spammable. So I mean, you can send a wizard and magic missiles from half the screen away, kind of thing, and you can just sit there and do damage without taking damage. You can move around. You can sit there and kite them around. So I think the ability, I think personally, some of the melees, it might be a little bit easier on the melees, but I think the range people can probably be able to do it more efficiently because they can just sit there and kite.
Yeah,
to
it's
a
really
point.
Going to come down to your build and your skill,
and
your style.
Me personally, I think it's going to be. I think one of the range is going to be better, just because from what I've seen playing like the wizards and the demon hunters and stuff like that, you can sit there and use your class-specific primary spells and use your like your arcane spells every now and then to sit there and do that. But even without the high DPS, it seems like they're always on the lower end of the DPS even at the level scales. Not by much, but by a little bit. Mm-hmm. But they can still do just as much just because they have the mobility. And again, you're not worried about getting killed because you have more mobility. So they have damage reduction, but you have mobility because you can you can attack on range without taking damage.
Right. Yeah, I think that it's going to be I hope that it's balanced. As much as I love D2, I really fucking got tired of lightning sword. Magic Find Go. It was very set in that. I mean, you had a few variations, but for the most part, it was hammer pallies when there was no resistance to that particular type of damage, and that was really broken. And then you had the lightning sorks would farm certain stuff because they could static field, and then you'd have your meteor orbs or whatever to do different areas. So, I mean, everyone had like their own area, but there was still a top 4 Magic Find. Like as far as character builds went, there was a top 4. So I'm hoping for a little more balanced kind of setup to where if I want to be a bard and I have the skill to play it, and then I can stack Magic Find on my bard. Or if I'm playing the Sork or the Wizard, that I have the ability to do it there too. I think that naturally, usually characters that are going to lose items or item power for something like an ability like Magic Find, typically range stands better, just because they can stay out of the action a little bit. But you've also got a lot of the abilities coming out with the monsters, like the fears, and I'm sure bosses are going to have some crazy range.
What was the nade one? The guy...
Mortars. Yeah,
he just rains them at
that range is going to... Caster's going to get...
It's not going to be harder than D2 for range.
Because everyone knew Mephisto, pin him on that little fucking ledge, get him interested, static him, get him into the ledge, and then just go as far back as you could on that thing and shoot lightning bolts up the thing. And you'd kill him. He'd never even touch you. I think that with the long range stuff like the mortars and the fears, whenever you're getting close to them to try and pull off crap like that,
teleporting.
Yeah, I say, and
I think it's going to be scary for range classes. Really.
I think so too.
Yeah,
and bosses.
I'm excited for that.
So much fun.
They changed up. I mean, used to it was really if you were in range, you were taking the damage. Like as far as close range, if you were a ranged character, you typically didn't have to do a whole lot. It wasn't like a lot of the stuff you see from WoW where, if you're in range, there's going to be something that pops out and you have to avoid it. There was no evade back in the day. Now you're seeing that come out more, like where casters have to pay attention.
We've only seen one major boss so far in the beta, but look how much more interesting he was than anything in D2. I mean, even the Primevals had 3 abilities, 3 or 4 they would cast at you. Yeah. And now, like, Skeleton King had gap closers, summon monsters.
Yeah, summon monsters. He's got teleport in. He's got teleport out. Immunity was the other thing that you saw with the Skeleton Kings. The immunity when he kind of goes into that phase where he's just wildly swinging. You can hit him all day long while he's doing that, but he's actually phased out at that point. You can CC it. That's about the only thing you can do. So and that's the first boss. It builds from there. It's fucking scary to think about.
Like we've seen in the blue post and everything about and Steve wrote an article talking about how the combination is going to work later on. When you have those monsters, they're going to have wicked combos. I mean, you think about like the mortar and into the slow and into the block kind of thing, where the waller and the mortar and teleporters. I mean, eventually it's going to become more difficulty. So it's not going to be so much of stack this ability, do this build. It's going to be
what are we getting into?
What are you getting into this time? Be prepared and know your class and be good at it. And overall, if you can't watch our videos.
Let's round it up with, as far as stacking Magic Find and what character is going to be the best, it's really just going to come down to knowing what you're going to be coming up against and preparing your build for.
Yeah, for sure. And then we've got kind of one more topic to cover, and I'm going to let Steve introduce this because I'm not 100% on what it is. in-game.
The in-game difficulties?
Yeah.
Well, getting into Hell and Inferno mode, do you guys think it's going to be more of a skill barrier to get into playing Inferno and beating it, or is it going to be more just an item barrier? You have to have good items, or maybe a little bit of both. Which do you think is going to factor more into?
I am 100% towards skill. I think you could have the greatest armor and gear all day long and still be bad. Yeah. I've seen it all. I've seen it in every kind of game you can play. You can have the best of the best of everything, but guess what? If you don't know how to do anything like you were talking about, I mean, you can buy all that fancy gear. If you don't know how to play your wizard or your barbarian, you're going to stand in the corner and rotate and die.
See, I feel like even if you do have an immense amount of skill, you're going to need some gear to do it.
Yeah. Well, they've already D2 showed us that. I mean, I don't know how much they're bringing that meta over.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm saying like you're gonna because like
you're obviously going to need gear. I see what you're saying.
You're obviously going to farm in hell.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
but when you are going to Inferno from hell, you've obviously farmed enough for gear, so you're not going to walk in there unprepared.
Right.
But it's going to come down to, yes, you have good gear, but you need that good skill.
It's going to take high level of skill to farm the gear.
I feel like getting into Inferno, you're going to have such a wild ride. You're going to know that was hard. What am I getting into next?
When you beat
it's going to be so hard that it's going to mentally prepare you for Inferno.
But like what we've seen a lot of things though is like what we're doing. We're a 4-man team. We're going to be going at it the entire time. We're going to be seeing how our comp works and everything like that. And when we make that transition into Inferno, we're going to be like, all right, when this comes up, we handle it this way. We have the gear for it now, and it's still going to come down to us playing well together as teams. So that's what I'm thinking. You're going to see a lot more people. It's not going to be so much of you have one good person that can carry an entire group. It's you have one good group, and they know how to deal with things.
Let's put it this way: Inferno is going to be a big skill and gear check.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the gear, if you went half-ass in hell and only farmed a little bit.
If you just rush through,
they're going to let you know real quick. You need to go back to hell.
They're like, guess what? You're dead.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, I think that you have to have the skill to get the gear.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah, of course.
So, I mean, ultimately, I'm going to say that it's, no matter how
unless you have tons of money.
Yeah, unless you have tons of money.
So, Inferno's more going to be a gear check, because if you're getting through hell, you obviously have the skill. You've probably got the skill if you're getting through hell. So, I honestly, I think it's a skill barrier, because I think you're going to have the skill to get the gear regardless. And so I feel like since you have to have the skill to get the gear, it's a skill barrier, because if you have the skill, you can get the gear. Gear barrier?
And even then, once you
Inferno is going to be a gear check.
Once you hone your skills, like even in the first act of Inferno, you're going to have to farm the hell out of that to get into the second act.
I say Inferno's not going to be like,
because there's 3 tiers of gear in Inferno.
This isn't going to be like the old Diablo where, you could hell rush yourself from 1 to fucking 80 and then stand in bail runs all the way up to 80 again, over again, and that's you're not going to be able to do that. When you get into Inferno, it's not going to be. You might see some rushing here or there, I say, but I don't see the rushes being like they were, where you're getting up to 1 to 80 in no time.
All right, let's wrap this shit up.
Bring it back up. That's what we're looking at.
That's
look at that sweater.
Christ.
Yeah,
well, I mean, we're right at 15 minutes. We talked about all of our stuff. Anybody want to add anything? Do we want to kind of go over what our current setups are? We just want, all that information as far as what our
all that's on our website.
All of our if you're interested in what we're running, I think all of us either have or are going to post our gaming setups on Reddit's subreddit Battle Stations.
Yeah.
If you just search that for the Diablokes, all of our shit should be tagged as that.
We'll also probably have it in our bios on our website, or
Twitch,
also in our bios and our Twitch accounts.
You can find out most everything about us if you're interested in that. Just go to our website, Diablokes.com, and
Diablokes.com.
Diablokes.com. That is important.
Diablokes.com.
And once release comes, we're going to be doing live streaming 7 days a week. We're going to have some giveaways. As we mentioned before, on release night, we're going to be doing a featured stream on YouTube Live, along with our 4 individual streams on twitch.tv. We're going to have giveaways during that stream. We're going to be giving away 2 books of Cain, potentially more. So if you guys want to check that out, we'll post some links to it and such. Does anybody have anything to add?
Just a rundown of all of our links. We've got the Diablokes.com. We've got our Twitter page.
At the Diablokes.
At the Diablokes. We've got a Twitch, which would probably be the easiest way to find it is on the Diablokes.
Diablokes.com.
Yeah, we'll have YouTube live stuff.
You can find us on Facebook.
Our YouTube stream, we have the link. It's not set up exactly the way we want it, so it's coming to our website soon.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for it.
Look for us on add Machinima to your Facebook. When our link pops from them on release day, like the fuck out of it, share it, shove it up your bum, make a little Machinima link baby, and just have that.
Make your mom and your grandmother
raise it into the sun like fucking Simba.
Yeah. Do you want to thank any of our sponsors or non-sponsors or
HostDevil.com?
HostDevil.com.
Oh,
that's our only real sponsor at this point.
Machinima.
Machinima, yes. Machinima's back
also,
going to be doing some stuff with us.
The reason we got the Machinima hookup and especially the YouTube Live closed beta hookup is my cousin and her boyfriend Sarah and Ben.
Big shout out to Ben.
Yeah,
big shout out to Ben. He's actually going to be directing our YouTube live stream for the first 24 hours. He's
going to be behind the scenes back end, so big shout out to him.
You can check out him at youtube.com/Nebula Media.
Nebula Media.
Nebula Media. He does some of the party grip videos. You might have seen some of them.
He's big into TF2 as well.
Yeah, he also has his TF2 reality show, live show, The Locals, which is way funny.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's about it.
That's all for us. Thanks for stopping by. Next time we have a podcast, we're not really sure.
Probably the week after it came out.
Yeah, a week after release, maybe.
We're gonna tear ourselves away from the computers.
Yeah, after everyone's
it's just gonna be
tired of playing.
Might make it live.
I say depending on kind of what our response is, we'll do kind of maybe a live podcast for that, and then keep it up on the site too for people who want to catch it after the fact. So more on that later. But if you have any recommendations or personal questions, if you want to see Fatty's fucking titties, whatever it is, let us know. Also, he's taking donations for stickers, and he'll place the stickers or personally drawn art on his body.
Sure, I will be your whore. I have no shame.
But with that, I'm going to wrap this up before it gets a little...
This is for sale.
We'll wrap this up one more time. I'll have everybody kind of outro themselves. I'm Mike. Handle is Shew The Mighty.
Don, T3H, Don.
Steven, Sharptooth.
Fatticus. Pope Fatticus.
Josh, that Asian guy.
If you couldn't tell.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.